Hey, today on Woodworking with Wes, we have a fun little thing that I want to show you. It's about how to do some special joinery the easy way. Now, everybody, or I shouldn't say everybody, but if you've been in woodworking for any amount of time, you know or have heard at least what a mortise and tenon is. A mortise and tenon is, first off, let's start with the mortise. A mortise is a hole that is drilled into a piece of wood, square, not round, but square, typically square. In fact, they even have mortising machines, drill presses, that use a special square chisel to cut a mortise hole. The tenon is the board that goes into that square hole. Like I say, this is typical. I'm going to show you today a little trick on how to do through tenons. Now, a through tenon is where the board that goes into the hole goes all the way through. And so I'm going to show you a little trick on how to do a through tenon by doing stacked layers. Let's get started. As a demonstration, this is a typical tenon look. Here's the tenon part, here's the mortise part, and your tenon goes into your mortise hole that you have like that. And like I say, I'm going to show you a little way to do a stack piece of wood. Now, just to give you an idea, this is going to go together like this. Now this tenon, the mortise and tenon here, is actually at the top of a board, and so it goes together like that. But you can see how I have 3 pieces of wood that I've stacked together, and I've made another piece of wood with 3 pieces stacked together, and one of the pieces sticking out to create the mortise and the tenon. And it goes together like that. I'll show you how I did that. Let's start off by making this piece right here. I'm going to show you just dry fit how I made this piece right here. Here's one side. This block right down here is 5 inches. So I would lay this block on here, glue it, and give it some nails. My tenon part, my mortise part, is 2 inches. This is a spacer block. So I put my 2-inch piece there. 7 3/4 is my next part. I lay my 7 3/4 up there like that. And the top part of this piece is 2.5 inches. And there's my 2.5-inch spacer on top to check myself. Okay, so, and then I would come back and I would lay this piece on top of it, and that would complete my mortise portion of my build. And I've done that all without a mortising drill press because I've just taken 3/4 inch material. This is just 3/4 inch pine that I bought from my big box store. I just cleaned it and sanded it and cut it to size. And I put it together in a mortise and tenon shape. Let me show you. Now this is going to be kind of a bench type thing. This is a bigger piece, same typical kind of construction. Here's our 5-inch to match the 5 inches down here. Goes there. Our 2-inch. Let's see, where's my spacer block? 2-inch right there, like that. Our 7.5-inch piece that matches our 7.5-inch piece there, goes there. Top piece goes here. This is 2.5 inches. This piece goes on top. I've already made one half of this part, this project that I'm working on, and I'm going to slide it together and show you how it looks, and then we're going to build one all the way through just like I built these. So here's the back part that I was talking about. Here's the front part, and like this. And like this. And then this piece goes like this. And there we are. Okay, let's show you how I did one of those pieces. Let's put together the back part. This is the back leg of a bench. Let's start off and put one piece together, and I'll just show you just how I did this. This is an outside piece of furniture. So let's mark where our little first block goes so that we can spread some glue. This is Titebond 3 exterior glue. Put a little bit of glue on there. We don't want a ton of squeeze out, and so we're just going to be very careful not to put too much on there, but we want good gluing. And then this is now the inside level of my glue up here. This is 1.25 inch 18 gauge nails that I'm using to hold it in place. The glue is going to be the main strength of this, but we've got to hold it in place while the glue dries. Our next block is our 7 3/4 inch piece. Again, we'll mark it so that we can get our glue in the right place. Like that. Push it down tight against our 2-inch spacer. Make sure our edges line up. Like that. Okay, and then our top piece is flush with the back and flush with the top, and it creates 2.5 inches in the center here. Just like that. Okay, let's mark so we know where our glue goes. We don't want any glue on the inside of our mortise right now. When we put it all together, we'll glue it. But right now, we just want to glue these pieces together. Okay. There's that. By the way, I have a Band-Aid on my finger. I didn't cut my finger on the table saw. I cut it on a piece of cardboard. It's a paper cut. I wanted to make that clear in case you thought I was being unsafe on the table saw. Okay. Now this is the inside level. Here's our through mortises. Now we're getting ready for the outside level that goes here, like this. And that's the way it'll fit. So let's put a little bit of glue on this level. Okay. Make sure that we're flush with the bottom and flush with the back. I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this, attach this. You can see some screws here. Those screws we'll talk about in a second, but I'm going to put one nail there and one nail here and one nail there to hold it in place. These are deck screws. I purchased also from my big box store. They have a special coating on it so that they don't rust and so that they also don't leave a stain or anything like that on the exterior of the wood when the water gets on them. We're going to drill some pilot holes here. These are 2-inch, and by the stacking 3 3/4 inch pieces together, we have 2 1/4 inch of thickness. And we're going to put our screw in and just tuck it down just so it's just below the surface. We're not going to be filling these or trying to cover the screws. We're going to leave these just the way they are. Like I say, this is going to be an outdoor piece of furniture. And so we're going to be a little rustic in its design, or in its finish, I should say. magnetic tip won't keep hold of my screw very well. This is a special star. It's got a special star application to this. So they gave me a special bit that came in the screws. And there we are, all screwed together. There's one last thing that I do, because I have multiple pieces and I have it glued together. Sometimes you'll have a little bit of a crack. Now, I'm really good here, but let me grab some clamps. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to see areas where I think that a little extra pressure on those pieces of wood might pull it together. Because when I get this all done, I'm going to sand this all out. I'm going to put a round over on the edges so that it's really a nice, smooth, clean piece before I put my outdoor finish on it. This came together really well. There for good measure. Not necessarily maybe, but good for good measure. Okay, this will be pointing to the outside. The part where the screws are will be pointing to the inside underneath our piece of furniture. There are our mortises right there. And our tenons. Where's that little piece I had? Our little tenon pieces will just fit right in there. Like that. Okay. An easy way to do through tenons. And you can see by using a through tenon format and stacking your pieces of wood, you can make super strong pieces of furniture or construction for anything you want to do. Super strong, because a mortise and tenon joint is a very strong joint. It has been around for thousands of years. If you wanted to give it a little extra decoration, you could have it come through a little bit and put a little fancy end on it and have it stick out a little bit. But for what I'm doing, this is the way I'm doing it. I think that you will find that if you're looking to build some furniture or any kind of construction where this application would work, here's an easy way to do it. And that's what we're trying to do today, is to demonstrate an easy way to do a really strong joint. Looking forward to seeing you next time on Woodworking with Wes.